stoned. You're better off that way. Worked out pretty good for me. Okay, and then some of the artwork was fun, and we would not use Photoshop and all these high tech uh, um, programs to make our flyers. We'd use tape, pens, and paper, and make our flyers. Our flyers were, again, another type of artwork that we took a lot of pride in. You know, again, we weren't trying to make it look slick and look something like, um, in any way. We were trying to just give a good picture. Of course, one of our favorite things was if someone had $5, that would be like awesome. I mean, sometimes we had $5 between each other, and we were able to, because we were on the beach, you see, with $5 we can get a pack of cigarettes, cheap cigarettes, and a 12 pack of cheap beer, and then we get our ghetto blaster out, uh, and I guess we'd steal the batteries from one of our siblings and load up our ghetto blaster, and we would totally go to the beach, uh, and just blast our music, which was our music, that we recorded at the warehouse from that very same ghetto blaster. We would record all our music in the warehouse, and we would totally spend whatever, maybe 8 hours on the beach, just having a great time, enjoying our youth, enjoying our culture, enjoying our town of Hollywood Beach. Woo! Um, really enjoyed it. Another thing we did was we bought cheap cars, and of course, with a cheap car, you got to work on it. So while we were listening to a lot of our tapes from recording, we would record on. We had a 4-track recorder, cassette recorder, which we thought was so high tech. We figured, hey, the Beatles used a 4-track recorder to record Sergeant Pepper, so we should be able to make a Sergeant Pepper. So we would make our 4-track recordings, and then mix it down and bring it, make a tape, and then while we're working on our cars and sitting around talking shit and getting drunk, getting stoned, of course, very important. Can't do that without the other. We would listen to our tapes and talk about how awesome we were. The other great way to listen to your 4-track tape mixdowns was to mix down the tape and then get into your car, make sure you have enough gas in there, and get drive. Because usually our stereos were pretty kick butt, even though we made our stereos ourselves. We would go in the car and listen to our music. Our music, meaning the ones that we recorded ourselves. Won't really remember us listening to anything else other than our music. Here's a scene of us, using one of our little 4-track cassette players. These things were awesome. When you look at something like this, you're like, oh my God, this is like the Starship Enterprise. I have an amazing piece of technology here. And one of us would be the engineer and sit there and get the levels and record. The other one would, be at a mic. That's me there at the microphone. And have the other guy whoever was near a guitar be able to play a guitar not far enough away so it wouldn't bleed into the microphone, and room to dance while you play. Of course, you got to play and dance at the same time. And we would make our 4-track recordings this way. And then, of course, sometimes you get so stoned and drunk that you would fall asleep, you'd crash, bam, and you'd fall asleep. That's a roach right there. That's a, for those of you that don't know that culture, a roach is a unfinished joint, an unfinished marijuana cigarette. Just in case, I don't know what year this is going to be found in, so then we'd have our band meetings. This was usually done at the warehouse with a really crappy couch that we pull out of a dumpster somewhere, and discuss the amazing politics of our band here. And then, of course, after we figured out our politics of our stuff, we'd say, okay, let's smoke one. It's time to smoke one and celebrate how amazing we are. Might seem narcissistic, but whatever. With no money, we seem to have years of just total heyday type experiences. Living the misspent youth. Most would say misspent, maybe not. Maybe it was how it's supposed to be done. Just having a good time playing music and acting like rock stars. But we were rock stars in our group. We a lot of people knew us around town, and of course tried to avoid us because we were nothing but trouble. Here was a poster idea. This is here's a drawing of my dear friend Matt. Great bass player, great musician. Here's Pete Sanasardo. There's Steve Saltrick. I really can't tell who these two gentlemen are. Maybe this would be Tracy. And I guess I don't know who that is. Anyways, this was a great poster idea. Right here. Pete would always, this is a Pete thing, he would always have glasses, a cigarette, and an open shirt with his taco chest hair popping out. That was his look. That was a look. And that's it. That's the story I got for you today, children. The story of no future. And let me go back to this last closing drawing for you. Right here. I don't know if I got this before, but thanks for the cigarette, but I'm too stoned to play. No future. There we go. All right, kiddies. Thank you very much for listening. If you spent these last 15 minutes listening to this, I thank you, and thank you for hearing a little piece of Americana, a little piece of Hollywood Beach, Florida, a little piece of no future.